Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have the finals of our ELD Legacy Open from August 7th. We got Kenny versus Tim, Gyruda Bomberman versus Blue Red Delver, and it just goes to show you just how incredible this format is. Blue Red Delver is thought to be one of the best decks in the format, but Bomberman is not on a lot of people's radar, and it is here in the finals. Will it be able to best a very consistent pile of cards here? We got Wasteland taking out Ancient Tomb. However, that did allow for a Chalice of the Void. That's going to really restrict a lot of what Tim's looking to do, though he does have 2-mana spells. Ragavan continues to swing, applying pressure to the life total while also hopefully finding some cards that it can make use of, but even just the ramping is helpful. And here we have an Expressive Iteration, which digs, exiles a Lightning Bolt. Ingenious Smith shows up off of Cavern of Souls. It's going to make him uncounterable, so even if there's a Daze or a Force of Will, that's not going to be able to stop this guy. And he does represent a stop to the beatings on the ground. We'll see if Tim decides to engage in combat or not. Oh, wow. Walking Ballista shows up, so I'd imagine he'd be more inclined to trade. Goes. And he will trade, knowing that Walking Ballista is going to be on its way. Ragavan was not going to have a ton of utility. Murktide Regent showing up here just as a 5/5, which for 2 mana is crazy that that's just a 5/5. Very often it is an 8/8, though, to be honest. Force of Will stops this second Ingenious Smith, and yet another one. So this one's cast with Cavern of Souls. Oh, that's brutal. Daze. Them seeing Kenny tapped out and just going for it with a Daze. That is a costly error. Lion's Eye Diamond is on board. That perhaps could have been dazed. Actually, yeah, it would have been dazable. A Mox Opal. Is this Myth larger? Smith is not capable of blocking Murktide, so likely to be turning sideways. There is the potential for a hasty Ragavan to consider. Oh, it looks like he has much larger plans, though, as Kenny's eyeballing these double LEDs. Cracks them both. And he's going to be getting Gyruda and casting it. You got to pay 3 to add it to your hand now. The companion rule has changed. Auriok Salvagers is found, and that is Christmas Land. So we've got Lion's Eye Diamond in the bin. Auriok Salvagers is going to be able to return Lion's Eye Diamond and get infinite mana. The Salvagers, you can pay 1 and a white to return the LEDs. Got plenty of mana. And there's 2 LEDs. Going to need to be like multiple Force of Negations to be able to stop this, and that is not the case, as Salvagers recurs this LED, creating an arbitrarily large amount of mana. So with 5 million of each color mana, you can then cast a pretty large Walking Ballista and just end the game, as Bomberman steals that first one despite the presence of a very large Murktide Regent. Tim is going to have the play. Going to be looking for some type of 1-drop, Delver of Secrets, Ragavan, Dragon's Rage Channeler, something to put some pressure and hopefully out-tempo that. And he does have the Delver. Volcanic Island. Does not have to worry about Force of Will, despite Gyruda Bomberman being capable of playing blue. I think this is a mono white build. You got Lion's Eye Diamond, Lotus Petal, double Delver of Secrets. Lotus Petal as well. Cavern. And there's the Salvagers. That is a big, big backside on that Salvagers. A 2-4 means it's outside of bolt range. Now both Delvers flip, so the race is on. I believe Kenny's doesn't have access to blue for Urza, which some decks enjoy. Those decks usually run Echo of Aeons as well, and usually get pulled into running Hull Breacher. Kenny keeping this deck laser focused, and so far it's worked out for him as he's off into the finals. Lodestone Bauble. Sacrifices. Storm with the Dragon's Rage Channeler on top is practically a dig through time. Tim not happy with the expressive iteration. He wants to find some counter magic. Specifically, Force of Negation, as that's going to exile Lion's Eye Diamond is cast. Otherwise, Salvagers can just bring it back anyways. No white mana for Kenny at all, and he has to scoop it up in the face of overwhelming pressure. We are on to the next one just like that. Salvagers, but no LED, no combo to be found. Him now. Crazy how much the white absorbs the light when those go. You guys notice that too? I guess why newscasters don't use white paper. It's like sucks up all the light. Everything else ends up way darker. All right, Tim. Will he be able to slow down Bomberman? I mean, that's the thing with Bomberman. It can win out of nowhere. So many decks in Legacy have those explosive combo finishes, which is why people enjoy playing decks like Delver so much. Having the ability to say no with Force of Will, Force of Negation, Daze, Sorted counter spells, all can try and slow things down. And we have an Ingenious Smith. It's a Force of Will. Double Force. Force pitching Force. To a Ragavan. Delver. Certainly a strong start. Saying no thank you and getting the monkey on the board. Opal's Exchange. And a Walking Ballista, X equals 2. That's a very dangerous card here. That's going to make a real mess of things, as it can just ping any of these Delver threats outside of Murktide region pretty effectively. I mean, Ragavan just has 1 toughness, as does Delver when it first comes down. And eventually, Dragon's Rage Channeler may end up entering as a 3/3, making it the kind of the best option. Looks like Kenny's going to be beefing up this Walking Ballista so it can ping the Delver. Swings first. Really maximizing damage. So making it a 2/2, coming across for 2, and then removing a counter. So very tight technical play there from Kenny. Those points of damage may not end up mattering, but not to make optimal plays. Anything can happen in Legacy. He may need to Gyruda beats or something. You never know how things are going to play out. But this Walking Ballista right now in the driver's seat, Kenny with just one card in hand. He'd love another mana so Ballista can continue to keep the board clear of any of these 1 toughness threats. Being able to pay 4 to add a counter. Really suppress Tim's board, and if left unchecked for a few turns, starts to become a very serious clock as well. You get Ballista up to a 3-3 or a 4-4. Then you have the ability to remove those counters to do that final chunk of damage. Oof. Karn gets a Force of Negation. Karn showing up very dangerous. He would practically end the game. And now Ragavan dashes, finding a Mishra's Bauble. Probably the best thing you could find in the deck. Certainly one of them as it moves the game plan forward. Another Karn off the top, though, like an absolute savage. And Tim's going to need to commit Ragavan to the board. As if Karn can find Mycosynth Lattice, that is going to be game if the board is empty. Plussing Karn to keep him around. Minus there. Bolt could clear him. Interesting. So Ragavan actually swinging at Kenny instead of the Karn. Got a Ponder digging. Wasteland takes out the City of Traders. And a City of Traders off the top. Interesting that there's only 2 artifact lands there. Getting rid of one of them would have gotten rid of more mana. And he only would have had just a City of Traders in play that could tap for mana, along with the single Ancient Den that would have been left. I guess, is it the same both ways? Never mind, it's the same both ways. You lose an Ancient Den and the Mox Opal no longer works. And eventually they'll get Metalcraft again, let's be honest. But those are decisions. That was played very quickly. May have been more obvious to Tim. The type of error that I've seen missed previously. Tough situations. We've got Ensnaring Bridge here, and now Mycosynth Lattice. So Ensnaring Bridge is going to ensure that Tim cannot attack, and Mycosynth Lattice now blanks all of these cards. Confidently plays a Lightning Bolt, but you can't. There's no way you're playing it because everything's an artifact, and artifacts can't be used thanks to Karn, and that is it. The lock is conceded to as Kenny takes down the ELD Legacy Open with Karn and Mycosynth Lattice to lock out the final game versus Tim and Blue Red Delver.